Yeah, no, definitely very swaggy. I'm wearing a Real Madrid soccer jersey, so I am not.
Wow. Get out.
I am not on theme today.
No.
I'm not. I'm sorry, guys.
You got a Spurs hat on. Oh,
I do
don't
have a
think that
well.
helps, but
It matches.
Sweet combo, bro.
Matches my shoes, dude.
Nice.
Davis has actually started the Real Madrid Spurs crossover fan club.
I'm not even a fan of Real. It's just, why not swag it out one time?
You can't even roll with my jokes.
Yeah. Well, were you making a Tottenham Hotspurs joke?
I don't even know if you spoke English just now.
Isn't that the team you said you were going to be a fan of if you started watching EPL?
I think so. Someone told me that I said I wanted a team that was like probably not going to win, but at least maybe had a chance.
Oh, so the Bills in the AFC East, but of the EPL.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
I don't even know if the Bills maybe have a chance though. Well, maybe this year. I don't know. Who knows?
No.
Do you watch soccer at all, JJ? Is that a thing, or is that like not a thing at all?
No.
I really want to play some EPL on DraftKings this weekend.
I played last weekend, and it was super profitable.
There's 6 games all at once, so but I have no idea where to even look. So we should talk about American football though, probably.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about American football.
Good.
All right. Well, I'll start off. I'll give you guys a softball. Is there anyone from tonight's game that you're using on FanDuel or DraftKings in the Thursday start contest, JJ?
No. I'm not really that excited about the slate. I mean, like, I guess you can go back to our boy Niles Paul on FanDuel because he's still pretty cheap, and he's just getting volume there. Garson's kind of attractive. I don't know what his price point is really, just because I've kind of faded. Is it? I assume because of last week. I mean, I think that he can still have a good game. I don't really like the matchup that much. I think that the Giants could get to Cousins more than people think after what they saw from Cousins last week. I'm just not really that interested in what's going on in the game. Plus the Redskins' rush defense has played really well. Rashad Jennings had a nice game last week, but you can't really roll with him in this one.
What about you there? That's one, Mike.
I've got mostly Jimmy Graham, but on the cash game team, I don't have Graham. I have Niles Paul. And I also like Ruben Randall as a cheap receiver.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
Ruben Randall is off my board. He is averaging 0.6 yards per route ran. That is worse than Vincent Brown's last year.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been good, but he had, like, I think 10 targets last week, 5 in the red zone. For near minimum as a receiver, I'll take that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not playing solely to get him in, but he fit as a cheap wide receiver on a couple of my teams.
Does anyone like the Redskins defense? I think that would sort of be the play if you were starting tonight, would be the Redskins defense against a very turnover-prone Eli Manning for very cheap on FanDuel as well.
Yeah, they're the minimum price. I think I might have to rework a team and get them in. I didn't have them in just because I didn't really need a minimum defense, but I was looking at Eli. It's unbelievable. He's thrown, dating back to last year, a pick in, I think, 17 of 19 games. Multiple picks in, like, either 8 or 9 of those. I mean, it's pretty insane.
He's awesome.
He's been sacked every game this year. So you're almost starting with a turnover and a sack.
Right.
For a bare minimum defense to kind of start with 1 turnover and a sack as your base is,
JJ's best friend is all in on Eli this week. All in. Wrote him up. Denny Carter wrote him up as like a great streaming option.
No. We talked about him on Living the Stream last night, and like I'm not nearly as into him as Denny is. I'm just not. I'd rather play like Bridgewater than Eli. Yeah. So I mean, it's just no reason.
Yeah, I like Teddy this week. Let's start out by talking about quarterback. Are you both sort of the mind that for cash games it's Drew Brees and then it's the next tier?
I have Brees. I think like Kaepernick and Foles, maybe even Stafford are just as good as plays as Brees for the money.
People need to stop doing this with Stafford. Stafford is so volatile. It's just like he's so very rarely a cash game option because he's so volatile.
Yeah, well, I mean we saw that last week. I like Cutler too on DK. I think on FanDuel I have him in. I like him against the Jets. The Jets secondary, that's how you beat them. It depends if sorry, not the Jets, the Packers. It's a high over under. I was thinking of last week. High over under. I think it'll be high scoring. I think Cutler's fine. Cutler's not volatile at all. Even though people would think that he is because he turns the ball over so much, he's really not from a fantasy perspective. He's pretty safe, which is why I usually like him in cash games.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick two, though, like my main two are Breeze and Kaepernick.
You're gonna have to talk to me about Kaepernick over Foles, Leone.
I just think he's going to see an increase in, passing attempts. I think the Eagles, with the pace they run at, they give up the third most passing attempts per game. So I think he sees a bump in volume there, and he's running a lot more this year. Mm-hmm. Or I think he is, at least early on. He's had, I forgot what the percentage of carries. It was like close to 30%. So he's run over 50 yards the past 2 games. I just think the rushing element he brings gives him the tiebreaker over Foles, but I wouldn't debate it to death if you wanted to play Foles over him. I like both guys.
The one thing with Kaepernick, I was looking at the Game Splits app, and he has 5 games where he was in a game with an over-under of 48 or higher, and in those 5 games, he scored an average of 23 fantasy points. So, yeah. I mean, I think that he's pretty favorable against bad defenses as well. I'm cool with him this week. I like him. Guys, I like him more than Foles.
Can I guys stat on you real quick? Can I stat all over you?
Yeah,
sure.
When Drew Brees is in a game with an over/under in Vegas higher than 50, he averages 30 fantasy points a game. When you put it to 54, which is what the line is this week, he's 38 fantasy points a game.
Is there any worry for you? Is there any worry for you about them? I mean, Jimmy Graham could have 18 touchdowns this week, but is there any fear that they are a little bit more run heavy than? The other thing too is that Dallas is controlling the ball a lot more than they did last year, and their pass to run is one of the lowest in the league, 4th lowest in the league right now.
Yeah, but that's all already baked into the team total.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
And Dallas is
your thoughts. Thought it was too high.
The thing about the Dallas defense is that it's so bad that even if say Breeze only gets 6 possessions, in some crazy hypothetical world where DeMarco Murray has 50 rush attempts and just gains the bare minimum to get first downs possible, and Dallas possesses the ball for 40 minutes, Breeze might throw a touchdown pass on 75% of the New Orleans possessions. I know Morris Claiborne had the interception sort of to win the game last week, but he grades out as the 4th worst corner in football by Pro Football Focus pass coverage metrics, or by their yeah. So Claiborne's terrible. Carr is just as bad. Skandrick is okay, but he's smaller. He plays the nickel corner role. And also
isn't Skandrick playing? Didn't he get promoted? I thought Claiborne got demoted.
Well, in today's NFL, nickel corners are starting anyways because teams play 3 wide receivers 75% of the time. But also, good luck Orlando Skandrick against Brandon Cooks. Have fun. Brandon Cooks is the best small wide receiver in football.
Antonio Brown, bro.
I actually think for daily fantasy that Cooks.
Oh, for daily. Okay, yeah. I forgot that you only care about daily fantasy.
Wait, how is Cooks better than Brown in daily fantasy?
I think
you mean price point and stuff, right?
Price point, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just saying straight up.
Yeah, I had to. That's why I was confused.
His price on FanDuel is still really favorable.
He's 5,300 on DraftKings.
Oh, yeah, he's.
They just give him away every week. They're like, here you go. Here's 15 points. You can have it. I don't care about these.
This is so funny that though. I wish we could play the tape when you crapped all over people taking Edelman's 14 points, and now you're my God, Cooks is 15 points.
Well, I mean, Cooks' quarterback is a lot better than Edelman's, and I played. I'm just saying, you
used a 1-point disparity in a guy that you're okay locking in 15 points, but you made fun of people. You actually said, I think.
So here are a couple things about that. Here are a couple things about that. I played Edelman last week. I also wrote him up.
I'm just using your words, what you actually said on the show.
Okay, Cooks greater than Edelman. I just find is anyone going to argue that? The situation is just so much better.
No, I was saying though that.
All right, Leone, I get it. I'm the worst.
Changing my argument to fit you not sounding ridiculous and hypocritical. I love you.
New Orleans is going to kill. They're going to kill that defense.
No, but I wasn't anti-Breeze. you may be convincing me to get more exposure.
He's definitely better on FanDuel than he is DraftKings, I think.
I think both spots, given what he does in these sorts of games, like when you say, okay, Breeze gets to play on the turf, the over/under is high, it's a bad defense. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say, when looking at the game levels, I also added the filter to make it bottom 15 pass defenses,
so it's
which is where I got that number. So
basically, you just filtered it as, let's see Breeze's average in his highest scoring games.
No, I filtered it to make it representative of this game.
I feel like there's some bias there.
By Football Outsiders DVOA, the Dallas pass defense is bad. They're also bad by subjective film grade measures from Pro.
Yeah, no, I completely.
We know they're bad.
You have to go all in on Breeze. I think you can split them with one of those. If you like Cutler, or if you like.
I don't know why people are like. It's not even a small sample. Like, it was like 8 games, too.
We're not debating Breeze.
No, Dan in the chat is just being Tuttle is trolling me in the chat. Like, when it's like actually like just a very legitimate real thing that I took time out of my day to go research.
Dan apparently added a new filter to the RotoViz game splits.
Yeah, there's no filter there for before or after game BJ's.
Apparently there is, because Tuttle looked it up.
Okay,
that's pretty good. You should play Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Someone just asked about Phillip Rivers. I don't know how I feel about Phillip Rivers. What's your take, Denny? Not Denny, JJ.
Denny. I'm kind of scared of game flow in that game. I think that they could just come out running to begin with. Like, Donald Brown is going to probably top 30 carries again. I'm just, I don't think he has as much upside as a guy like, well, obviously price-wise, but I don't think he has nearly enough upside to really play him this week. He's safe, but I don't necessarily see the thing too. Like, I know Andrew Luck came out of last week with really good numbers because he threw 4 touchdown passes. But you can't really bank on that whenever teams do go down or go up that big.
I'm not playing Rivers anywhere, but I wouldn't blame anyone if they did. I think I looked up some stuff. I know Rich on RotoViz did something, and I did something on the DFS. Looking at the quarterback point totals relative to spreads, and really the team total sticks out as what matters most. Sometimes with the quarterbacks, I think we worry too much about game flow. With that said, I think the Chargers might be a little bit of an exception because of their grinded out style.
Yeah.
I mean, they ran Donald Brown 31 times at 2 yards per carry last week.
Right.
I like Keenan Allen with his price down, so I'm kind of hedging my anti-Rivers. I'm also like hedging my anti-Cutler with Alshon in a few places, and kind of hoping if I'm wrong on Rivers and he goes off, I'll have Keenan Allen.
Right. And Ladarius's outlook, he didn't practice today, I don't think, which is good for volume wise. But the thing too is it's a 13-point. Like, I don't recall if Rich's game script work was with regards to that high of a spread.
So here's the thing to me about Keenan Allen. I think that if game scripts all season long go how San Diego wants them to go, Keenan Allen will be like a high-end wide receiver 3 for fantasy. And I don't necessarily see this game going where Keenan Allen, like, what you're hoping from Keenan Allen is like a big, long, explosive play, which if you look at Keenan Allen's sort of game logs and what he does, that's not what he does.
Yeah, he hasn't done that at all, yeah.
I know people just continually bristle at the idea that like 40 times are informational about football players, but even if you watch his college tape, like, and you look at his 40, you see the type of player that he is. He's a big guy, he's very good in the red zone, but he's never going to be the guy who burns past the safety and, makes like the Dez Bryant play. Like, that's just not who he is.
They have the highest team total on the week. His price is extremely deflated. He had 3 pretty tough matchups, was dealing with the groin injury last week. I'm pretty sure he practiced in full so far this week. I just think it's a really good buy low. I don't see it going wrong.
I was on him a little bit last week, but then his injury scared me off for sure because people were reporting that he wasn't even going to play. But like, I don't blame people for buying into the Chargers. Like, it's almost impossible to blame someone to buy into the Chargers offense when you have the biggest dumpster fire in the NFL playing against them.
I think that there is significant opportunity cost associated with using one of your wide receiver slots on Keenan Allen, though.
I don't think so.
Why?
Because I think that basically
you just think he's bad now? I mean, they played this style last year.
No, I don't think that they're bad. And also, yeah, they played their style last year. He had 71 catches. Normally, you're not going to associate a 71 catch season with the sort of fantasy season that he had.
He also started late.
Yeah, he also started late. Like, you can't just.
He did okay. Yeah, he didn't play. He basically was a non-factor in week 2. If you go look at his game logs, he played some in week 1 and played a lot in week 3.
Right, but
you just used a raw total. I mean,
the other thing too with the Chargers is that they got really run heavy towards the back half of last season, and he was still producing. So I'm not really that afraid. I'm more afraid of just the opponent and the way the game could go than I am Keenan Allen in the long term or this year, given like a decent matchup. Like I think he can still be fine. I don't think the Chargers offense really limits him like crazy. He's still
like
fine.
I guess I see what the game flow concerns. It's part of the reason why I like Donald Brown a lot, but I also don't see Philip Rivers not throwing for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's fair. That's super fair. Yeah.
Yeah, well, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, they give touchdowns to Eddie Royal, Ladarius Green plays, Antonio Gates has always been Rivers' primary red zone weapon. Even last year when he was hobbling around on one leg.
You don't sound like the guy who had me draft Keenan Allen in the 3rd round all my seasonal leagues.
He was a good value in the 3rd round.
So I mean, are you really changing your thought of him that much based on 3 down weeks in tough matchups?
No, because seasonal is not daily fantasy.
No, but if he was a value in the 3rd round and you're not worried about the first 3 weeks, if you're worried about the first 3 weeks, okay. But if you're not worried about the first 3 weeks, how can you say the opportunity cost is too high in this matchup?
Because
if you still view him as that same guy.
Because Brandon Cooks is in a much better spot. I was wrong on Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is going to end up being a top 15 totaler of fantasy points by the end of the season. So I was wrong there. And then I also think that DeAndre Hopkins for 6,400 just shapes. Like I just think he's a lot better of a play this week, just based on.
Really, I will. Oh my God, well, we should take a bet on this.
Okay. We can do that. Buffalo has the worst starting corner in all of football by Pro Football Focus pass coverage.
You realize that the corner that plays the most snaps has a +6 in pass coverage.
Yeah, and he'll be on Andre Johnson.
Not the whole game, not the way they play it. I don't think so.
I also think DeAndre Hopkins is a much better player than.
I think he's good, but he doesn't really get that many looks, and I think we're going to see Allen finally get his targets now that he's not locked in a tough matchup and he's a little bit healthier.
I mean, he had a game with 11 targets and he didn't do much. I think so. This is something that I'm concerned about with Keenan Allen is some of his best games last year came on 6 targets, a 3-target game with 2 touchdowns, a 5-target game with 2 touchdowns. So there are a couple ways that you can view that. You can say, well, obviously he's a touchdown creator, or you can say it was a little bit flukish. I don't really know if I have an opinion, but I just know that the way game flow goes this week, he's going to need to get one of those touchdowns early. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, his volume wasn't crazy last year. He only had 105 targets. But I think you're hoping the problem that offense can be super efficient through the air, which is the good part, the positive with Keenan Allen. And I mean, again, I think that we're probably not nearly as far off on Keenan Allen as the discussion is going.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be unreasonable here. I just think personally that Hopkins is a better play. I think because he is so much more athletic at this point in their career than Andre Johnson, I feel like he is a much better bet to get down the field for a touchdown. I mean, we saw last week, I'm not trying to be anecdotal here, but obviously that amazing catch that was called off by a penalty. And I just feel like he is the most talented player in that offense. And then without Arian Foster, obviously they are going to be more willing to throw. They're going to have to change their red zone packages because Alfred Blue is just not very good. So I just feel like it sets up for a good week for Hopkins. Game flow will be more likely to keep him involved than it will be to keep Keenan Allen involved.
See, I'd be surprised if Hopkins had more targets or more red zone targets than Keenan Allen.
I would not be shocked either way. I'm not taking a super strong opinion on this, other than to say that in my personal lineups, I think Hopkins is a better player and therefore will have a higher expected fantasy points per target than Keenan Allen, and I feel like the matchup sets up better for him due to the quality of Buffalo's corners.
Have you seen Jacksonville's corner? I don't know. I feel like
Jacksonville's defense.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Jacksonville's defense is bad from top to bottom, but I don't think it's impossible.
The corners collectively are worse than the Bills' corners collectively.
Sure, but how many pass? I mean, what is the realistic expectation on? This is the last thing we're going to say about this. What is the realistic expectation on Phillip Rivers' pass attempts this week, Mike? Like 22?
No, it's going to be higher than that.
It'll be higher than that. Probably 30-ish.
28 to 30.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm
stupid
because
I think it comes down to I think you guys are more worried about the game flow than I am.
Yeah. I would agree with
kind
that.
of end of discussion. I think that's just
okay. All right. Well, let's talk about some other. Who are some other mid-tier wide receivers then that you're considering, like a little bit lower than Allen and Hopkins? Like, is there anyone that jumps out in that 5K to 6K range on FanDuel for you at all?
a lot of like mid 6 to 7K guys. It's kind of where my focus is.
Yeah.
Cooks, Andre Johnson, Keenan Allen, Crabtree.
Crabtree for sure.
Crabtree's he's gonna be money.
Yeah.
I still don't mind Golden Tate that much on both sites. In cash game.
Yeah, he's the one guy that's cheap that I like. I think.
Yeah, he'll score a touchdown eventually.
Is okay.
No, I mean I'm serious. Like he's going to get you 10 points on.
No,
on
I think Golden Tate. I think Golden Tate is fine. Like I do think he's a good talented player. I just he's always one of those guys that safe floor daily fantasy players are gonna like every week, and that's fine. To me, I think I sort of approach lineup construction a different way. I'm trying to really embrace volatility with my second and third wide receivers, and I feel like a lot of players approach it from a different angle, that's fine. I might be wrong for all I know, but that's just how I sort of personally do lineup construction.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I think the Lions are going to throw a ton.
Yeah, they have to.
And a lot in the red zone. I mean, that's how teams are attacking the Jets because their corners suck and their run defense is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if Calvin Johnson doesn't go, I think Golden Tate.
Did I lose you? You guys there?
Hello?
I can hear you. JJ, can you hear me?
I can. Did we lose Davis?
I think so. Can someone tell us if we're still streaming here?
I only see Drew laughing.
All right, we're still here. Drew says we're still here. So
okay.
Oh, screw you, Davis. So what other? If you're paying up for a receiver, who are you paying up for? I didn't realize Johnson missed practice for 2 straight days. He was kind of going to be my top guy, but now I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to love Antonio Brown this week. Just the way that he's started. Obviously, he has that 5 reception streak going. Tampa Bay's defense grades out number fire metrics wise. They're doubly as inefficient as the 31st ranked pass defense. They're that bad. And I know a lot of that has to do with how they performed against Atlanta last week, but they've been bad all season long against the pass. We saw that against Derek Anderson too in week 1. But yeah, I mean, I'm cool with in cash games, especially paying up for Antonio Brown. I think he's a lock to get you a good 10, 15, up to 20 points.
I think this was a good spot to talk about Antonio Brown with Davis not here.
That's a good point.
No, I think Brown's incredibly safe, but I find myself either going Des Calvin or just drop down.
Are you going Jordy then? What about Jordy versus A. Brown? On FanDuel, I think that they're only $100 apart.
I don't really have a receiver in that price range. I think I would go Jordy just because
the upside.
Yeah, I just like Jordy better than Antonio Brown. But that might be, Davis chirping in my ear off season not to draft Antonio Brown.
I was just happy that Davis finally admitted defeat to the Antonio Brown. Oh, there he is.
Don't be such a height supremacist, man. All that research about wide receiver size completely made up. Correlations aren't even a thing.
Yeah.
We should just completely ignore it.
Davis, what do you think about Jay Samaro?
Yeah, one drop means he's a bad player. That's how fantasy football works.
He's got small hands, though. Like, really small hands.
Yeah, there's no significant correlation between hand size and NFL production. Like, no one's ever found it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Alex Smith.
No, like, legitimately, there were several studies done by several sites that found no correlation.
I think Amaro's going to be a big bust.
That is an awesome opinion to have, definitely rooted in science.
What do you guys think about Jared Cook? 7 for 75, baby.
Yeah. Here's a question. What do you guys think about Kelsey this week? Because they didn't adjust his price on DraftKings.
I know it's tough though, because that matchup is brutal.
Is it brutal though?
Yeah, it's tough. It's the best defense in the league right now, and they've played tight ends pretty well. What? Why are you giving me that look?
I don't know why. I don't know how the Patriots are the best defense.
They have the #1 DVOA pass defense.
Yeah, they do, and number fire metrics as well.
Well, I mean, they did just play Oakland.
Well, ours are adjusted for strength of schedule, Davis.
I don't know.
I'm
you guys take your facts and go home.
No, that's fine. I legitimately don't have access to the number fire data.
I think it's a tough matchup, but I also don't think Kelsey is this. I feel like every week people are kind of down on him, talk about how much of a risk he is. But if you look at the other cheap tight ends and the targets they're getting, I mean, he's fine. Like, he has more. I tweeted this out yesterday. He has more targets than Ertz, more red zone targets than Ertz. I mean,
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go cheap, I'm not totally against it. It's just tough. I don't think that he has close to the upside as he has the past 3 weeks. Even just because we didn't know how, week 1, we didn't know exactly how they were going to use him. Obviously, last week he scored the touchdown. We thought that he was going to be able to go off against Denver. He had a decent week, but in general, this matchup is not good for Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce is the kind of player that can be fairly matchup proof in that offense, and especially given who he is and his physical profile. But at the same time, it's not it doesn't scream this guy's going to go off this week.
Yeah,
I don't think it screams he's going to go off, but my whole deal is if you want to play Rob Gronkowski for 5.7, which I've seen bandied about, I think I would just play Kelsey instead because this is what you're dealing with. They're both not playing a ton of snaps. You're basically just hoping for a touchdown out of both of them because Gronkowski is getting nothing down the field. Both of their quarterbacks aren't playing very well. I know that seems like sacrilege, but almost literally any evaluation system would tell you that Brady's been bad. And also, he's really struggled with pressure. He used to... and every single Patriots starting offensive lineman has a negative pass block ratio from Pro Football Focus. I obviously think Graham is the best tight end play this week, but the tight end, if you're not gonna play Graham, I would play Kelsey probably.
A lot of it though has to do with the fact that there's really not a lot of competition for cheap tight ends this week. That's mostly the reason for me that Kelsey would be the attractive, cheaper tight end. There's really not a lot out there in general.
Yeah, I think it's Graham, Gronk for cash games, but if you are Davis's mindset and you're not that high on Gronk, I think if you do go cheap, it's Kelsey.
I really, if they're both playing split, not very many snaps, and Kelsey, I tweeted this out today, is graded out as the best run blocker for the Kansas City offense. And so, it's been 3 weeks. I expect Andy Reid to maybe finally see that on tape. And I think something that people have forgotten about Kelsey is that he's basically a rookie right now. Because he didn't play at all, and he was coming off a knee injury.
Right.
So I actually think that is a logical explanation for why he didn't play that many snaps in both Week 1 and Week 2. But he's a starter now. He played 62% of the snaps last week. There's no more he's not a part of that offense.
But would you play him on FanDuel? I'm looking at he's at 5,200 on FanDuel. His DraftKings cost, I understand.
DraftKings is the thing on FanDuel.
$600. He's $600 cheaper than Antonio Gates this week. And if Ladarius Green doesn't go, then Antonio Gates is going to get volume. So that's where I'm like I don't really see the reason. I mean, I get it on DraftKings though.
Yep, FanDuel is a different story. Like I think comparatively, I think Graham is easier to play on FanDuel as well than DraftKings. Just the way sort of pricing and stuff is breaking out for me this week. I don't know.
I guess I also expect Gronk to play a little bit more this week, but that maybe is just wishful thinking.
Well, the thing is, like with some of the options, do you have to go Kelsey? That's, I guess, my biggest thing.
Right.
I think Graham is so safe that you're taking a pretty big risk. And if with Davis's thought that Gronk and Kelsey are close, I understand it. I am not of that mindset. So for me, it's like if you don't want to spend for Jimmy Graham, just play Gronkowski and be pretty safe in your case.
What has Gronkowski done to suggest more than Kelsey that he is like a great play this year? Like if you look at the proprietary data from the site that JJ works for, Numberfire, they would suggest that Kelsey has been like a way better player for his team.
He's been one of the most efficient. He's been the third most efficient tight end in the league to start the year. We know that just by watching the game and seeing how often he's on the field. When he is on the field, he's doing work. But like again, I just think it's so hard to not play Jimmy Graham this week that I'm just
the Cowboys have given up the most fantasy points.
Go with like a Niles Paul tonight to diversify that tight end position, at least if you're on FanDuel, and then just plug Jimmy Graham in on the weekend to get the diversification.
No. Leone just got up. Can you see his scrub?
I'm having some sound issues.
Could you see his scrubs? Hello?
Yeah.
Kitchen?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
So
I can hear you. I can't hear anyone else.
JJ can't hear anything right now.
Oh, now I can hear Davis. JJ looks so determined, angry. Oh, no, he's gone. Are we streaming still? Can they hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they can hear
Hey,
you.
guys.
Oh, man. Davis, can you hear me?
Yep.
I wonder if everybody else can hear me. If you can hear me, type
Nope,
1.
can't hear you anymore. You just died.
All right. If you can hear me out there, press 1. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is a test. How long will people stay on listening to me test this terrible internet? That is the question. How long?
Yo, yo, yo!
We have like 5 minutes to tell people to play Lamar Miller.
Yeah, Donald Brown, Lamar Miller.
Le'Veon. Boom.
Le'Veon.
Forte. I like Forte too.
I like Forte too. Those are, oh my god, we're in sync. Look at this
Yep.
synergy.
Good.
Forte is good too.
I don't
Man,
even,
I-
I don't mind Kyrie again this week either.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can play Kyrie. You can also play DeMarco Murray just if you want all of that delicious volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I went in on Le'Veon haters in my write-up. I was just like, everyone who told you Le'Veon didn't even bother to look at his combine stuff. They just didn't even look at it. They were like, nope, he's fat.
Yeah. What about Eddie Lacy on DraftKings?
I feel so
Someone
good
else
about
can
my
do
running
it.
backs. Yeah, that's how I.
Dude, I'm not against it at all.
I'm not against it, but I think there's just so many good running backs. I'm not going to get sucked into like a price play.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel so
And I also
good.
think-
I told Davis I'm probably going to suck this week, but I feel so good about Bell, Forte, and those two. And Davis is going to crush me for this, but I don't mind Asiata on DraftKings.
I don't either at all. I hate him as a player, but I think he's gonna be solid this week. Anyone's good against that Atlanta front seven.
Yeah, and he didn't lose. Like I thought, with a whole week, McKinnon might get worked in a lot more than he did.
Right.
And he's caught 8 passes over the past 2 weeks. Is this streaming? This is good stuff.
Yeah.
This is my highest quality work right now.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. I think sort of the problem with Lacey is that he's only a price play if you agree that everyone's preseason projection of him as a player is correct. And I'm not sure he is.
Dude, his opponents have been unbelievable. He's played 3 of the top 7 or 8 rush defenses, advanced analytically, not even just yards against in the league.
He's averaging 0.6 vision yards.
No, he's the worst running back in Number Fire's database right now. He's terrible. But I think there's some reason to believe that a lot of it was matchup focused. I know the offensive line is terrible. When you use him this week, you're definitely hoping for a touchdown. You need a touchdown, period. But you know, I'm not completely against him at that price point.
So like my issue with Le'Veon is that it's concerning to me that James Starks looks better, has better stats per touch, and like has for quite some time.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
I'm not making that up. Like this is just a real thing.
Yeah, it's very.
The thing that I looked at with Lacey, the market share stuff's really not even that good. Like I know he's had bad matchups, but for a guy
they're giving carries to DeJuan Harris.
Yeah, like I mean, for a guy who's pretty touchdown dependent, I don't know. The red zone looks aren't great. The total carries aren't great. If he's gonna suck, I want those numbers to be really good.
Yeah, that's fair. I figured I'd throw him out there though because he's pretty polarizing this week.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, I don't get burned on that fade, but
because you can run on Chicago. We all know this.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, it's hypothetically a great spot for a bounce back game.
Yeah.
So and especially with that price point. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how that shakes out.
So he's not a cash game play because he's not a cash game play on DraftKings in general because he's not a pass catcher.
Right. That's fair.
So I just feel like in general that's sort of analysis that gets overlooked. But like 4 catches on DraftKings, like. That just makes up for so much.
Bobby Rainey was great last week. I mean, and he was terrible.
Yeah, I don't mind Ahmad Bradshaw because of that too.
Ahmad Bradshaw is fine, and like Lacey has a concussion problem that goes back like a pretty long way. Like he runs directly into contact, which is not super optimal. I don't know. Like maybe I'm wrong about Lacey. Maybe Lacey is really talented, and it's just these matchups. But just in general. Like, I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing more on Lacey. I don't want to deliver any like 2 hot takes and be like, dude, he's fat and he sucks. Cause
if I didn't feel so confident though, like
at other parts,
so good about like those 4 guys that we've mentioned, like that you could just make different combinations of those 4 guys and get enough diversity in your cash games. And
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Just play Lacey in a tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Who else do you guys want to talk about? Like, running back is seriously the shortest conversation ever this week.
What about 2 wide receivers I was thinking about this week. One of them's Greg Jennings, who I'm kind of looking at. The other guys who Davis is going to hate. I hate this too. Is Marcus Wheaton.
I think Wheaton's okay on DK. He's only 4,200.
Right. This is the
one where I'm like, I'll take my 12 points from a 4,200 guy.
Right. That's what he's going. Like he's almost a lock for that, which is mostly why I'm looking at that as a low cost play. Jennings, I'm interested in mostly because you have a rookie quarterback going in there. It's going to be probably higher scoring game, and you know that Jennings. I can't believe Davis is going to make fun of me, but you know that Jennings is a better route runner than CPAT is.
No, dude, people just there's a difference between real Davis Maddock football opinions and Davis Maddock Twitter football opinions. Like there's just a very, very real difference between those two things. Greg Jennings is a solid like 3rd wide receiver for fantasy.
That's mostly what I'm thinking about with Jennings this week. I mean, obviously, but like I think Bridgewater Jennings is helped by Bridgewater. I feel like because he's the veteran guy that's going to be there.
Oh man!
Don't you think that's an unnecessary risk?
You guys have me?
Yeah. It shut down for a second. It's live again, Mike.
I think Jennings is unnecessary in cash game.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that he'd be like an extreme PPR play, if anything.
Right. I mean, I'd look more. Hang on, let me see what is.
What do you?
I'll say this
on Jennings. Oh, go ahead.
I prefer Allen Robinson to Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson, if you just look at him from his physical stuff, he's Dez Bryant. Like same size.
He's Hearns 2.0.
I don't know what that means because Hearns wasn't even good in college and Robinson was.
No,
Dave,
you're right.
David,
Robinson's a
sometimes
good one.
you just gotta let like things like roll over and like just keep going and not go on these tangents.
I'm not going on a tangent. Allen Robinson is the truth, though. He was the highest drafted wide receiver on the team. A lot of people expected him to be the guy on the team. Those who weren't fans of Marquise Lee expected him to like lead this team in receiving this year. He's very underpriced. And Bortles, I mean, I don't know what your guys' opinion of him is. He's definitely better than Chad Henne, though.
Yeah, he's an upgrade.
Like
Yeah.
I would prefer Allen Robinson to Greg Jennings this week.
That's
How
fair.
do you feel about that, Mike?
How do you say that
Allen
Bortles?
Robinson, I wrote Robinson up. I like Robinson.
Yes, David.
How do you say that Bortles is like a definite upgrade of him?
Because I think
at least
Davis is
fantasy
an upgrade.
terms.
I think in fantasy terms, yeah, he's just more
He's
willing to
gonna-
take shots. And
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a proven track record of mediocrity for Henne. I guess I shouldn't say definitively that Bortles is better. Is like a
You don't have
winning
much to
quarterback.
lose.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to lose.
Like,
Yeah.
how much worse could he possibly be than Chad Henne, who
Unless
takes
he's
like
like Gabbard, but
That's always like a dangerous question or like point to make is how much worse could someone
Well,
be?
My
Yes.
point is that Bortles is a prototypical quarterback with prototypical arm strength who
Okay.
showed good pocket awareness at UCF and a willingness to stand in the pocket and get hit to deliver throws, which is something that Chad Henne won't do.
all right. Can I ask my question on what for tournaments? Do you guys like Kenny Stills? I liked him a lot in tournaments, but I don't know if I'm just
Yeah.
reaching on a
He
high
was-
total game or not.
He was mentioned in our internal FI chat as someone that was going to win someone all of the monies.
Cool. I'm not alone then.
Yep, you and Cardi are on the same page.
Huh?
I said you and Cardi are on the same page.
Cardi plays football?
No, Derek.
That was the joke. That was
Cardi
the
just
joke.
plays the cash lineup that I give him, so
Someone said-
he loses every week.
Someone said D'Angelo in chat.
I for 3,900 on DraftKings, I think he's an
Yeah.
excellent play. Like you can't expect much because that run offense has been so inefficient
Dude.
without the threat of Cam.
Their rush offense is so bad, and the Baltimore defense can stop the run, which is the issue there. But I understand it's a volume play if Jay Stu and Tolbert are both out. So I mean, I get it. His price is actually like kind of high on FanDuel.
Yeah,
Like-
no, on FanDuel, if you're not using those slots for the guys that we mentioned, I feel
Right.
like you're really doing it wrong. But the flex on DraftKings is what brings it into consideration.
Got some indigestion there.
Yeah. No, guys, I'm just sick, man. My body is falling apart.
You guys don't understand that Davis just does not take care of himself. Like even
I
when
take
he
very
was,
good care of myself. I eat very well. I take a multivitamin. I am trying to limit my
You're
caffeine.
organized.
I just don't sleep. I just don't have time for it.
like we were in San Francisco, and it's like, Davis, how much water have you had in the past 3 days? He's like, none, but I have had Red Bulls and Starbucks Frappuccinos.
I haven't
There's
had
water in that.
I haven't had an energy drink since before I got my wisdom teeth taken out.
Wow, that's pretty
Wow.
awesome. Are you not having
so
headaches?
It doesn't matter. I just don't sleep, so my body is sick.
Do you not have headaches
I get them all the time.
from the cat? Wow. But anyways, yeah, Davis, you got to get some sleep, bro.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are gonna be
It
talking
makes a
about
big
how you
difference.
look.
Like you just gotta force yourself. I know you say you don't have time, but I'm sure you find the time. if you
Someone else take my anthropology test for me tomorrow, and I totally will.
If you just like
Okay.
cut out Twitter for a day, you could catch up on sleep.
can't do it, man.
I know, but
Yeah, no kidding.
See, you could have the time though, so don't say you don't.
No, I could. Like, I could obviously, I could sleep more. I could play FIFA less. Like, there are things that I could do.
yeah, you could do that.
I never meant to insinuate that like all of it is like it's like obviously like I procrastinate and stuff. I suck at that, but
Captain
Whatevs.
Obvious, I could play FIFA less if I wanted to get more sleep. Yes, you could.
Did you guys see the photo Nap tweeted?
yeah, so good.
Like probably the greatest. I probably need to make that my like icon. Just
Who's
because.
the
No,
picture
you
of-
need to just have
I didn't see
two hats, one mic forever and ever.
No, I meant change my photo to that,
Just
not the handle.
I just want to keep it just the one that you have now. Just the classic Vegas picture, man. It's so good.
That's not my photo, is it?
Well, it is in my head.
Oh.
you serious?
It's the team
I was
that I
like, did
drafted.
someone change my photo on me?
The team that I drafted for Drew on Yahoo. That's his profile.
Yeah, I
picture.
know. I
We
saw
beat you, by the way.
I
You
know.
Charles.
I had so many guys underperform. I was so mad. I was tilted. Won't lie. Are we streaming?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No.
sweet.
This is all gold.
Oh, so they got our gold about the running backs.
Yeah, we got the 4 running backs, man. We're good.
Yeah. I'm out. I'm spent.
Yeah, like they're like my observations this week are very narrow. I think Breeze and Foles are the plays at quarterback. I
And
think
Kaepernick,
Lamar
but
Miller,
yeah.
Donald
Kaepernick.
Brown. I don't agree. I think that
Little
Foles
cutler, though.
I think Foles is a better play than Kaepernick in my opinion, but I've been wrong.
You don't think it's close though? You really don't think it's close? At least.
I do not.
Hey, what was
Well,
my?
no, it's close. It's close.
Definitely
But I prefer Foles' safety. Like Foles isn't going to go out there and have a detonation game because his coach is so good. The fact that Chip Kelly is such a genius means that Foles is almost always in a position to succeed.
It's the same way with Chicago, man.
Yes.
It's the same deal.
What was my bet with Dan yesterday?
I did not watch the show yesterday.
I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about it.
Dan, what was the bet? If I yell, will you hear me?
I don't know. Anyways, my dog's barking, so
So that's it.
that's it.
That's it. That's the show.
She's barking.
Sorry for the technical troubles, you guys. All of us are available on Twitter for your questions, especially
Except for
Liam.
Davis.
He loves them.
I'm like instituting a 24-hour
Twitter blockout.
Twitter block on Davis so he can get some sleep.
I like that idea.
Davis,
I got to study for 2 tests, write a paper, and finish writing absolutes, man. I might just stay up all night.
Davis,
I'll play FIFA for you.
do you remember last year?
Man.
Do you remember last year, Davis, when people started calling you like a zombie and stuff?
Yeah, it's getting to be zombie time
Yeah.
of the year for me.
You don't want that.
It's football, though, man. Football is draining.
Truth.
All right. Well, that will do it. To those that stuck it out, well, I'm sorry. But thanks for joining us. Hopefully, internet will be better tomorrow. But I can't promise anything. So, yeah, that will do it for today's show. The FantasyElite Insiders TV show. So until tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will later.
Okay, all right, hilarious, David.
Say bye, everybody.
Later, everybody.
Peace.